Welcome back to the quiet side of the earth. Tonight, we drift not into the stars above, but into the forests below, where time slows and the air itself seems to remember. Listen closely. The wind that moves through the trees tonight is older than language. It carries the same rhythm that guided the oceans, the same breath that once stirred the first leaves on this planet. Hundreds of millions of years ago, you are about to step into a place where every trunk is a library and every root is a thought, reaching deep into the heart of the world. Beneath the canopy, light bends differently. The world glows in shades of green and gold, softened by age and silence. Here, even shadows move with patience. The forest doesn't rush. It doesn't argue. It doesn't demand to be heard. It only waits. And somehow, in that waiting, it understands everything. You may think of trees as still things, rooted and silent, but in truth, they are among the most ancient travelers of this planet. Their ancestors stood when continents were still drifting, when creatures with fins began to crawl onto the land. Their branches have seen ice ages come and go, and their roots have tasted the ashes of volcanoes long forgotten. If you listen closely, you can almost hear their memories vibrating softly in the air, like the low hum of a great instrument, tuned to the frequency of the earth itself. Tonight, you don't need to think or analyze or move. All you need to do is listen. Let your breathing slow, your shoulders loosen, your heartbeat fall in rhythm with the pulse of the forest. The trees have no need for clocks or calendars. Their measure of time is rain and sunlight, growth and decay, patience and renewal. They have witnessed the rise of civilizations, the silence after extinction, and yet they remain steady, rooted, calm. They are not just witnesses to the earth's story. They are the story, written not in ink or stone, but in rings of wood, in patterns of growth, in whispers carried by the wind. So as you close your eyes tonight, imagine lying beneath an ancient canopy, moonlight dripping gently through the leaves, the air rich with the scent of moss and life. Somewhere above, a branch sways and a single leaf detaches, not falling, but floating, spiraling slowly toward the earth. That's how sleep will come to you tonight, not as a fall, but as a gentle drift. The forest is ready, and it has been waiting a very long time to share its wisdom with you. Chapter 1: Welcoming the Forest's Embrace. Welcome back to the quiet side of the earth, where the air hums with green and time itself moves slower, softened by moss, measured not in minutes, but in seasons. Tonight, you are not surrounded by walls or noise. You are surrounded by trees, ancient, patient, unhurried beings that have stood through storms and silence alike. Take a breath. Feel how the air tastes different here, cooler, cleaner, a mixture of soil, sunlight, and memory. Every molecule of oxygen you breathe was crafted by the forest, born from the silent chemistry of photosynthesis, the oldest magic on earth. Inhale. You are breathing the same air that once brushed through the leaves of trees older than civilization. Exhale. You are giving something back, carbon that will feed the roots, that will return as breath again, someday, for someone else. This is balance. This is the circle of life made gentle. If you listen closely, you'll notice that a forest never truly sleeps. it simply grows quieter. Its sounds move deeper. The rustle of leaves becomes a whisper. The creak of a branch becomes a heartbeat. And the hum beneath your feet, that subtle vibration of life inside soil, becomes the earth breathing beneath you. You are walking now through a cathedral of living pillars. Each trunk rises like a column of time, its bark textured with centuries. Light filters through the canopy, scattered into soft golden fragments, like thoughts you no longer need to hold on to. Let them fall away. Let them scatter, the way sunlight scatters on the forest floor. Somewhere between the shadows and the sunbeams, you begin to notice something. The trees are watching, not with eyes, but with awareness. For centuries, they've learned how to listen. They listen to rain through their leaves, to wind through their branches, to the slow conversation of roots beneath the ground. And now, for the first time in your day, they are listening to you, your breath, your quiet presence. You don't have to say a word. Just being here is enough. The forest does not ask you to prove anything, to achieve anything, to fix or solve or plan. It only asks you to be. The forest accepts you as you are, a creature of breath and thought, resting among its older kin. As you walk, the ground beneath you softens. Every step sinks slightly into the leaf litter, the gentle skin of the earth, made from centuries of fallen leaves, each one returned to soil, feeding roots unseen. You are literally walking on memory. Somewhere in the distance, a stream murmurs, not rushing, not loud, just existing, carving its way between stones that have been smoothed by patience. Above you, birds settle into their night songs, short, calm notes that echo like prayers. They are part of this same rhythm, the slow pulse of a world that has never stopped moving, but has never hurried either. If you could hear the language of trees, it would not be in words. It would sound like deep time itself, measured in growth rings, in sap rising, in the sigh of roots drinking rain. Each tree is a timeline, an autobiography written by sunlight. Its body remembers every drought, every frost, every summer that lingered too long, and yet it endures, quietly turning hardship into structure, storm into shape, time into strength. How often we forget that kind of patience. How often we confuse motion with progress and stillness with sleep. But the forest knows better. It knows that real growth happens slowly, quietly, beneath the surface, in roots we cannot see. Now, find a place to rest, maybe beneath an oak older than your ancestors, its branches spread like arms of comfort, maybe beside a cedar, its scent grounding, clean, a fragrance that feels like home. Sit down. Feel the coolness of the earth beneath you. It holds weight, not heavy, but protective. This is the planet's oldest embrace. As you lean your back against the trunk, you might feel something subtle, a vibration, not a sound, but a pulse. That is the tree's heartbeat, slow, almost imperceptible, the steady flow of water rising from roots to sky. It takes hours for a single drop to reach the leaves, and yet it never stops. A tree's patience is not passive, it is devotion. If you could look deep inside its wood, you'd find an architecture of wisdom, tubes, fibers, and cells aligned in perfect harmony. The xylem carries water upward, the phloem sends nutrients down. Every part moves together, balancing tension and flow. It's not so different from the human body, really. Your blood, your breath, your heartbeat, all part of the same rhythm of exchange. You and the tree are mirrors of one another, both made of carbon, both living because of the same sun, both breathing in opposite directions. To sustain the same world, stay here for a while. Let that thought settle like soft rain. Feel how your breath and the forest's breath have become the same. The air moves through you and back into the trees, and then into you again. There is no separation anymore. You are part of the forest now, and it is part of you. The day's noise has faded. The mind's chatter has grown quiet. The only sound left is the slow, sacred pulse of the earth continuing its life beneath you. Rest in that. The forest will hold you. Chapter 2: The Breath of the Forest. The night deepens. The light softens into green and gold, and the air thickens with quiet. You can almost feel the forest exhale, a breath so wide and gentle, it seems to move the entire world, and you are breathing with it. Without realizing it, you've fallen into the same rhythm, slow, deep, even, the rhythm of leaves, the rhythm of life itself. When you inhale, the forest gives. When you exhale, the forest receives. It is the most ancient partnership, older than speech, older than memory. Every breath you take is borrowed from the trees. The oxygen filling your lungs was built inside them, molecule by molecule, from sunlight and air. They do this quietly, every second, every day. Their green leaves are not decoration, but factories of light. Inside each cell, a universe of chemistry hums in silence. Carbon dioxide enters through tiny pores, stomata like miniature mouths, and within the chloroplasts, sunlight is split, atoms rearranged, and life created anew. From sunlight, they make food. From air, they make oxygen. From stillness, they make everything. When you breathe out, you return what they need. Your exhale becomes their inhale. Your carbon dioxide feeds their cells, their roots, their slow, steady hunger for balance. It's an invisible conversation, one you've been having your entire life without ever knowing it. In the forest, you can hear this dialogue. If you grow quiet enough, it sounds like wind through leaves, like distant waves of breath. Each gust is a shared inhale, each still moment, a pause, the world between breaths. You are part of a loop so perfect, so ancient, that it does not need your attention to continue working. But when you do pay attention, when you feel your lungs expand and realize that expansion mirrors the rise of branches overhead, something shifts. The body remembers. It remembers that it belongs here. We are not strangers to the forest. We are the forest in a different shape. The carbon in your bones was once part of leaves. The calcium in your teeth was once dissolved in rain. The iron in your blood was forged in the heart of ancient stars and returned to you through the soil. There is no boundary. There never was. In science, this partnership has a name, the carbon cycle. But in the language of stillness, it is simply love, an unbroken exchange of giving and receiving. When you inhale, you take in sunlight that has passed through green. When you exhale, you release warmth that will become part of growth. Every breath, a quiet act of trust. Every exhale, a promise to return what you have borrowed. Now, breathe again, slowly. Inhale, feel your chest rise, your ribs expand, your body soften. Exhale, feel the release, the surrender, the way the forest catches every breath and folds it into its rhythm. This is not meditation, this is remembering. The forest does not tell you to breathe deeply. It simply breathes deeply around you, and you follow. It leads not by instruction, but by example. If you could see the invisible, the breath itself, you would see threads of light passing between you and the trees. Each molecule dances between species, between generations. A breath you take tonight may one day feed a sapling or rise again in the lungs of a child, centuries from now. It's a strange and beautiful immortality, the way air becomes memory and memory becomes life. Some trees, especially the elders, those whose trunks are wider than doorways, breathe even when still. At night, when sunlight fades, they switch the rhythm, exhaling oxygen less, drawing more from the air. They rest, but they never stop. Their roots exchange gases with the soil. Their leaves whisper carbon to the wind. The forest breathes in shifts, like a great, slow lung that never empties completely. And within that breath, everything else exists. The fungi threading through soil, the beetles beneath bark, the mosses filtering dew. Even silence, even sleep, depends on this endless motion of air. When you breathe tonight, you are not just calming yourself, you are syncing with the ancient rhythm of the biosphere, a tempo older than humanity, a frequency measured not in seconds, but in millennia. Your breath and the planet's breath are one and the same. This is what peace truly is. To stop resisting the rhythm that has always carried you, to let yourself be breathed by the world. So, as you lie beneath the trees, close your eyes, let go of the day, the noise, the rush of thought. There is no need to force calmness. It is already here, waiting in the air around you. The forest has been exhaling peace for millions of years. All you have to do is inhale, and as you drift slowly towards sleep, know that somewhere above you, leaves are opening gently, catching starlight. The way your lungs catch breath, the forest breathes, and you are part of that breath. Beneath the soil, where light fades and silence deepens, the trees continue their conversation. In roots, in threads, in whispers the earth has never stopped listening to. Chapter 4: Secrets Carried by the Wind. Above the earth, the forest exhales. The air moves gently through the leaves. A ripple, a murmur, a sigh that travels across miles of green. It is not a storm, nor a whisper meant to frighten. It is the voice of movement itself. Every gust, every flutter, every tiny motion of air carries stories older than words. If you listen carefully, you will notice that the wind never truly repeats itself. No two breezes are alike. Each one is born in a different place, perhaps in the shadow of a mountain, or the shimmer of a desert plain, or the open skin of the sea. When the wind reaches the forest, it brings with it 1,000 invisible travelers, dust from distant continents, pollen from unseen flowers, molecules of scent, and whispers of rain yet to come. The forest accepts them all. The trees sway as if bowing in greeting. Leaves turn their faces upward, their surfaces shimmering, as though the entire forest were breathing in unison. We often think of wind as emptiness, as nothing but moving air, but in truth, it is one of the oldest storytellers in the world. It carries the voices of oceans, the sighs of volcanoes, the first cries of storms born far away. Each sound, each shift in pressure is written into the language of the breeze. To the trees, the wind is a messenger, and they are fluent in its dialect. Their trunks feel its push, their leaves read its rhythm, their branches translate its tone. The forest can tell when the wind means joy, a playful dance between sun and air. It can tell when it means warning, a shift, a tremor, a sign that rain or frost is coming. Through the wind, trees share more than space. They share anticipation. They share time. Imagine now the canopy above you, an ocean of green waves, each leaf catching and releasing the breeze, like a thought passing through the mind. The sound of wind in leaves is the forest's heartbeat made audible. It is not random noise. It is rhythm. It is memory. In Japan, there is a word, komorabi, for the sunlight that filters through leaves in motion. That light is shaped by the wind. Each flicker, each golden pulse on the ground is a translation of the forest's conversation with air. Light and wind, together, make visible the invisible. Scientists call it aerodynamics of vegetation, but in the language of sleepy science, it is simply grace. When the wind passes through the forest, it doesn't fight the trees. It flows around them, over them, through them. Each leaf bends just enough. Each branch yields just slightly, so that nothing breaks, only moves. There is wisdom in that, to live gently with the forces that move through you, to bend, not resist. That is the secret of endurance. It's how the forest survives storms and centuries alike. Now, imagine yourself as one of these trees. You stand rooted in patience, your thoughts deep in the soil, but your mind open to the sky. When the wind comes, you do not fear it. You let it move through you. You let it shake loose what no longer belongs. Old leaves, old worries, old weight. Each gust cleanses, each whisper restores. The air passes, and you remain. There is a peculiar beauty in this act of surrender. When trees move in the wind, their motion creates music, soft, irregular, like the slow turning of pages. Researchers have recorded the frequencies of leaves rustling and discovered something strange. The sound patterns follow fractal rhythms, similar to those found in human heartbeats. Perhaps that is why wind through leaves feels comforting, because it resonates with something ancient inside us, something that remembers being part of the natural pulse of the earth. When you listen to the forest breathe, you are hearing the same pattern that beats inside your chest. The wind is also a sculptor. It shapes everything it touches. Over decades, it polishes bark, leans trunks, carves valleys through soundless persistence. It moves mountains grain by grain, and yet we barely notice. We only feel the result: a smoother stone, a softer curve, a path worn into being by air alone. So it is with time and with life. The forces that shape us are often invisible. They move through us quietly, leaving only traces. And one day, we realize we have been shaped into something new. As night deepens, the wind slows. It curls around you like a gentle blanket. The air cools, and the sound of leaves becomes a lullaby for the mind. You can almost hear the stories the breeze carries, 1,000 fragments of memory woven into the present moment. They say that in every gust of wind is the breath of those who lived before. Ancient forests now turn to soil, creatures that once roamed the plains, oceans that once covered this land. The air you feel now has traveled farther than you ever could. It has touched deserts, clouds, mountains, and stars reflected in rivers. And now, for a brief, beautiful moment, it touches you. So close your eyes. Let the wind move through your thoughts. Let it scatter what needs to be released. Each exhale becomes lighter. Each inhale becomes easier. You are no longer apart from the forest. You are within its current, floating in its calm, drifting in its timeless rhythm. Above you, the stars are trembling slightly in the same invisible motion. Even the galaxies, billions of light years away, are spinning in quiet wind. The universe, in its own way, is breathing too. As your breathing slows, as the night deepens, the forest's secrets settle around you, in air, in sound, in the gentle language of wind. And if you listen closely enough, you may hear one last whisper, not from the trees, but from the air itself. You are safe here. You are part of the breath that began when the world was new. And as the night stretches long and soft, the forest begins to dream of time, of centuries unfolding ring by ring, of patience so deep it becomes strength. Chapter 5: The Patient Growth of Giants. Somewhere in the heart of the forest, a seed once fell, small, fragile, unnoticed. It was carried by the wind, caught by the soil, and forgotten by everything except time. That was centuries ago. And tonight, beneath the same stars that watched its birth, that seed has become a giant. Its crown now brushes the clouds. Its roots hold entire hillsides steady, and still it grows, quietly, imperceptibly, like a heartbeat that measures not minutes, but millennia. If you could sit beside this elder tree, you would feel it before you saw it. The air around it hums with presence. It doesn't move quickly, but it moves deeply. You could place your hand against the bark, rough, grooved, thick as history, and you might feel the faintest pulse of life beneath it, the slow river of sap rising and falling, in harmony with the earth's seasons. It is motion disguised as stillness. To watch a tree grow is to witness patience made visible. It stretches upward, but never rushes. It waits for rain. It trusts the light. It survives the storm, not by defiance, but by acceptance. This, too, is a kind of wisdom. Science tells us that inside every tree lies a living timeline, rings upon rings, each one a memory of a year survived. The narrow rings mark the hard seasons, the droughts, the cold, the hunger. The wide ones tell of abundance, of gentle rain, of sunlight that lingered. To a tree, growth is not a contest, but a record. It keeps no score, only remembrance. Even its scars are stories. Lightning strikes become silver streaks. broken limbs become invitations for moss and lichen. Decay itself becomes art, a quiet celebration of continuity. If we lived like trees, we would see life differently. We would stop asking how fast we grow and start wondering how deeply we root. We would understand that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the slow accumulation of endurance. Trees do not rush their healing. When wounded, they seal the injury with resin and new wood. They grow around pain, never pretending it didn't happen. They incorporate it, turning damage into design. It is a lesson written in rings. What hurt you can also shape you. Every century or so, a great storm sweeps through the forest. Some trees fall, others stand, their roots locked together below the surface. And when the wind has gone and the world grows quiet again, the survivors do not boast. They simply keep growing. Their fallen kin feed the soil. From that nourishment, new saplings rise. Even in loss, the forest continues. It doesn't mourn the way we do. It transforms. Growth for trees is not a straight line. Sometimes it pauses for years, waiting for the right light, the right water, the right warmth. In these pauses, something sacred happens. Energy gathers, roots strengthen, the unseen parts expand, and then, suddenly, a burst of life. A new branch, a taller crown, a deeper shade. Patience is not waiting for something to happen. It is trusting that something already is happening, even when you cannot see it. If you could watch a forest in time-lapse, days, years, centuries passing in seconds, you would see a choreography of quiet persistence, trunks twisting toward light, leaves forming, falling, reforming, generations of trees rising, dying, feeding the next. It would look like breathing, the entire forest inhaling and exhaling over ages. And perhaps you would recognize yourself in that pattern, a being always becoming, always growing, always returning to the rhythm of life. The oldest trees on earth, bristlecone pines, ancient redwoods, Japanese cedars, have lived for thousands of years. Some began growing before the first pyramids were built. Some still stand where ice once covered continents. They have seen entire civilizations rise and fade, their bark outlasting empires. And yet, they are not proud. They are quiet, because they know that time does not belong to them. They belong to time. Each ring within them is a heartbeat of the planet itself. Each breath they release is a whisper of everything that has ever lived. Tonight, as you rest, you may feel small beside such beings, a brief spark beside their ancient flame, but the truth is softer and more intimate. You share the same chemistry, the same stardust, the same molecules of air and water that once moved through their veins, move now through yours. You are made of the same matter that trees once breathed out. You are the continuation of their patience, the echo of their endurance, and maybe, in your own quiet way, you are growing too, even when it feels like you're standing still. In the hush of the night forest, there is no hurry, only the sound of your breath, matching the slow pulse of the world. You are allowed to grow slowly. You are allowed to take your time. You are allowed to rest and still become, because everything that lasts grows slowly, and everything that is wise once began as something small. So rest now. Let your thoughts sink like rain into deep soil. Let your roots of memory and hope intertwine beneath you. You are part of the same story, the patient growth of giants. And as you drift towards sleep, perhaps you'll feel it, the faintest vibration from the earth below, as if the forest itself is whispering, "Do not rush, you are already becoming." Even stillness is a kind of growth. Within every trunk, the story continues, the hidden harmonies of seasons past, the music written in circles of wood, waiting for those who know how to listen. Chapter 6, Songs in the Rings. If you were to look deep inside the body of a tree, not at its leaves or bark, but at its heart, you would find music, not the kind you can hear with ears, but the kind you can feel, slow, layered harmonies of time. Each tree carries within it a silent record of the world, rings that ripple outward like the echoes of forgotten songs. Every circle is a verse, every line a measure of rhythm carved by light and shadow. The forest, if it could be heard in its entirety, would sound like an orchestra of patience. Each tree plays a different tempo, some in the high notes of new growth, others in the deep hum of centuries. Together, they form the planet's most ancient symphony, the music of endurance. And tonight, as you rest among them, you are part of that song. The rings of a tree are born from time. Each year, a new layer forms, wood cells expanding and tightening as the seasons turn. In spring, when water runs freely and the light is soft, the cells are wide and light-colored, a melody of abundance. By summer's end, they grow denser, darker, a lower note, the sound of slowing. And when winter comes, growth halts completely. A pause, a silence. Then, when warmth returns, the rhythm begins again. Spring, summer, fall, winter, note, 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 rest. A four-part song, written in circles. Dendrochronologists, scientists who study these tree rings, can read the music of centuries. A narrow ring might mean drought, a jagged one, a lightning strike, a sudden break, perhaps the memory of a fire. Some trees have seen volcanoes darken the sky, their rings thinned by years of cold that followed. Others carry scars from ancient earthquakes, recorded in the tilt of their grain. Through these patterns, the earth speaks. Its voice has texture. Its memories have rhythm. When you place your hand on the trunk of an old tree, you are touching a timeline. Beneath your palm are decades stacked upon decades, an archive of rainfall and sunlight, of winds and seasons, of every moment that has ever brushed across its leaves. Each year, the tree sings another verse, but it never erases the old ones. They remain, layered, intertwined, a harmony of everything it has ever been. There is something beautiful in that, the idea that nothing is forgotten, only transformed. Human lives move fast, and we tend to measure our time by endings. A finished day, a new year, a chapter closed. But trees remind us that time is not a line, it is a circle. Every ending becomes the beginning of another layer. You, too, have rings, not in wood or bark, but in memory. Each year leaves its trace within you, some bright and easy, others dark and dense. All of them together make the song of your life. And just like the tree, You continue to grow around your past, not away from it. If we could translate the vibrations of tree rings into sound, we would hear a slow symphony, each note lasting months, each chord taking centuries to resolve. Researchers have done something like this. They scanned ancient wood and converted growth data into frequencies. The result? Music unlike anything human-made, deep, resonant, hauntingly calm. The tones rise and fall like breath, as if the trees themselves are exhaling the history they've kept hidden. Perhaps that is why being among trees makes the heart slow, the mind soften. They vibrate at a frequency of peace. Even in death, the music continues. When a tree falls, its rings remain. Artists carve them, scientists study them, fungi feed on them. The melody dissolves, but never ends. The fallen wood returns to soil, and from that soil, new trees rise, new instruments joining the eternal orchestra of the forest. Nothing is lost. The song simply changes key. If you sit quietly long enough, you can almost hear it, the faint resonance of life unfolding in every direction. The wind becomes a violin, the insects a chorus, the heartbeat in your chest, a soft drum keeping time with the pulse of the world. You are listening to the sound of everything growing, and beneath it all, in the low frequencies of the earth, the trees hum their timeless tune, the sound of patience made eternal. You may think you are small compared to them, but the truth is, your heartbeat and theirs follow the same rhythm of creation. You too have seasons. You too grow in silence when no one sees. You too are music written by the world. So rest now. Let the forest's song settle into you. Let its rhythm guide your breath. Steady, soft, circular. If you listen long enough, you will realize that this music has no beginning and no end. It is the same lullaby that has carried the planet through billions of nights. And as you fall asleep, the trees continue to play, their rings expanding slowly, their melody deepening quietly, their patience echoing into your dreams. Sleep now and let the forest remember you. The earth is still singing, and you are part of its song. Beneath the music, another voice stirs, subtle and unseen, a language of light, scent, and vibration. The trees, it turns out, are not silent after all. Chapter 7: The Forest's Hidden Conversations. When we walk through a forest, we often think it is silent, but silence here is only an illusion. Beneath the still air and gentle leaves, a conversation is taking place, ancient, constant, and so quiet that the human ear can barely imagine it. The forest is speaking, not in words, not in sounds we can hear, but in rhythms of touch, chemistry, and electric whispers that travel through root and air alike. For centuries, we thought trees stood alone, silent giants, each living its own private life. But science has begun to hear what our senses could not. Deep under the soil, where roots twist like threads in the dark, a network connects them, a living web of fungi and fiber, called the mycorrhizal network. Through it, trees send messages, tiny pulses of carbon and nitrogen, bursts of chemicals that say, there is sunlight here. Water runs deep below. Be careful, insects are coming. Each signal moves slowly, a wordless language made of molecules and intention. And through this network, the forest becomes one mind. Scientists once cut down a Douglas fir, only to find that the surrounding trees reacted within hours. Their chemical defenses rose, their bark thickened, their leaves secreted more resin. It was as if they had felt the pain of their fallen neighbor. Another study found that mother trees, the elders of the forest, feed their saplings through these underground threads, keeping them alive through the first winters, even when the young are shaded from the sun. The mother trees send sugar, minerals, and something more abstract, protection. It is a slow compassion, too gentle to see, too persistent to stop. Above ground, the trees continue to speak. They communicate through air, releasing scents and vapors that carry meaning as surely as any word. When a giraffe bites the leaves of an acacia tree in Africa, the tree responds. It releases ethylene gas, a distress call. Nearby acacias, sensing the message, begin to produce bitter tannins in their leaves, making themselves unappetizing before the danger even arrives. The wind becomes a messenger, carrying warning across the savannah, a language without sound, traveling faster than footsteps. In the forest, oak and maple do the same. Their chemistry shifts with every breeze, their voices rising and falling with each gust of air. And then there are the songs we cannot hear, the vibrations that move through wood and soil. Researchers have discovered that roots emit faint clicking sounds, pulses of vibration around 220 hertz. No one knows why. Perhaps it helps them navigate toward water. Perhaps it is simply the sound of life moving slowly through wood. Whatever the reason, it means that even underground, trees are listening. They sense footsteps, rainfall, the distant hum of bees. They feel the low frequencies of thunder before we even hear it. They are always aware, their perception spread across centuries, their attention measured in seasons, not seconds. Imagine what it would be like to sense the world as they do, not through sight or speech, but through vibration and chemistry, through invisible threads of feeling, to know when another life nearby is in need, to give without expectation, to exist not as an individual, but as part of a living, breathing chorus. This is how the forest survives. This is how it thrives. If you were to sit now, very still, beneath the canopy, you might begin to feel it too. The faint hum beneath your feet, not sound, but pulse. A low tremor that feels like breath moving through the ground. That is the conversation continuing. The exchange of sugars, signals, and soft intentions. Blowing beneath your body, you are sitting on a symphony that never stops playing. And even though the trees move slowly, their dialogue shapes the future. Their decisions ripple through ecosystems, changing the fate of rivers, soils, climates, and species unseen. When lightning splits a trunk, the message travels through the network. When a drought begins, the forest shifts its sharing pattern, sending moisture to the youngest and weakest. Each response takes time, hours, days, weeks, but always arrives. Because in the forest's world, nothing is forgotten and nothing truly alone. It is a democracy of roots and leaves, a quiet council that governs life without speech. And we are the guests here, temporary listeners in a conversation. that has lasted for 400 million years. The next time you walk through trees, remember this. You are being watched, but not with eyes. You are being heard, but not by ears. Every movement you make, every breath you release, adds to the story of the forest. It responds, not with judgment, but with inclusion. The air grows slightly cooler. A bird calls. The leaves shift their angle to the sun. Somewhere deep underground, a root adjusts its direction by a fraction of a degree, and you, without even knowing it, have joined the dialogue. There is comfort in this realization that connection does not always require words, that listening can happen in silence, that awareness itself is a kind of love. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, imagine yourself as part of this web. Your heartbeat becomes another pulse in the soil. Your breath becomes another breeze in the canopy. You are no longer separate. You never were. The forest is speaking. It says in the language of stillness, and you have always been one of its voices. And so the forest breathes again, in cycles of light and dark, in falling leaves and blooming buds, in the endless rhythm of renewal that cradles both life and sleep. Chapter 8. The Circle of Seasons. The forest lives in circles, not lines, not straight paths from beginning to end, but endless loops of light, warmth, rest, and rebirth. Every living thing beneath the canopy moves to this rhythm, whether it hums, walks, or stands still. And though it seems quiet tonight, you are surrounded by the pulse of a world, forever turning between beginnings and endings that are the same. The forest never dies. It simply changes shape. It begins with spring, the slow, shimmering return of light. The snow melts and the earth exhales. Moisture seeps into the soil, stirring the buried seeds that have waited in darkness. The first shoots emerge like thoughts at dawn, tentative, trembling, but full of promise. You can almost hear it if you listen. The faint crack of life waking, the whisper of roots pushing downward, while stems reach upward toward the sun. Each leaf that unfurls is a soft act of courage. Each droplet of dew on grass is the planet's first quiet tear of joy. Spring is the forest's inhale, a long, deep breath of possibility, and with it, your body breathes too. You feel lighter, as if every heartbeat carries a seed of renewal. Then comes summer, full and golden, a long song of abundance. The trees are heavy with life now. Branches stretch wide, leaves shimmer like green stars. The air itself feels thicker, filled with pollen, hum, and heat. Everything grows, everything sings. The forest is awake, draped in the scent of rain and sun. For the trees, this is the time of giving, light transformed into sugar, sugar shared through roots and leaves alike. Photosynthesis becomes a kind of quiet generosity, a constant act of turning light into nourishment. And you, resting beneath this living ceiling, breathe it all in, the invisible exchange between your lungs and the forest's veins. You are not outside the circle, you are inside it. You are part of the season's song, but even the longest day knows how to end. By autumn, the forest begins to slow. It is not sadness, it is wisdom. The trees start to let go. Leaves that once reached for light now drift downward, each one releasing gracefully what it no longer needs. The air turns cooler, and every breeze carries a note of change, a gentle reminder that even beauty must rest. From a distance, it looks like fire, gold, crimson, amber, 1,000 tiny suns falling to the ground. But this fire does not destroy, it transforms. The fallen leaves become the next season's soil, the cradle for new growth not yet born. Autumn is the forest's exhale, a sigh of gratitude, a gesture of surrender, and perhaps we could learn from that, to release what has already served its purpose, to trust that letting go is also part of living. Then winter arrives. The forest stands still, branches bare, streams quiet, air sharp as crystal. To human eyes, it may look lifeless, but in truth, it is only sleeping. Beneath the frost, life contracts inward. Roots draw in, holding energy close. Seeds wrap themselves tight, waiting for warmth. This is not death, it is rest. Even in silence, the forest dreams, a long, slow dream of renewal. And in that dream, you find reflection. That rest is not absence, but preparation. That stillness can be sacred. The seasons turn without effort. Spring will return. Summer will sing again. Autumn will let go, and winter will fall asleep once more. The circle keeps spinning, patient and perfect, never rushed, never late. Everything in the forest trusts this rhythm. The rivers, the moss, the insects, the stars, all of it bound by the same invisible thread, time moving like breath. You, too, are woven into this cycle. Your emotions, your thoughts, your days and dreams, they all follow the same pattern. Times of growth, times of harvest, times of release, times of rest. Even when life feels still, you are only between seasons. The circle continues, even when you cannot see it. Close your eyes now and imagine the forest around you, the entire earth breathing in harmony. Listen, the creak of old branches in the wind, the soft rustle of frost falling from needles, the faint trickle of melting snow beneath frozen roots. Every sound is a heartbeat in the loop of time. There is no beginning, no end, only rhythm, only return. The forest knows this truth, and tonight it offers it to you. You are not lost. You are not late. You are simply in a season, and like all seasons, it will change. Let that thought settle. Let it soften the edges of your mind. The turning of the seasons is not something you must control, only something you must allow. The trees do not resist the falling of their leaves. The rivers do not mourn their freezing. The sun does not argue with the night. They accept, they transform, they rest, and then, when the time is right, they begin again. So breathe with the forest, inhale with spring, exhale with autumn, hold still in winter, shine with summer. You are the seasons in motion, the circle remembering itself, and as you drift towards sleep, the earth turns quietly beneath you. Another rotation, another promise of renewal. Everything that rests will rise again. Everything that ends will begin again. And in the quiet between, you are held by the turning of the world. Now the forest night deepens. The moonlight filters through the branches, and somewhere between the roots and the stars, sleep begins to bloom. Chapter 9. Rest beneath the canopy. Night has arrived, not as a shadow, but as a soft unfolding, a slow curtain drawn by the hands of time itself. The forest exhales one final breath of light, and everything beneath it begins to settle. The wind quiets, the birds tuck their heads beneath their wings, the insects hum lower, their rhythm slowing to match the pulse of the earth, and somewhere among the roots and moss, you find your place. The air is cool and full of scent, damp bark, soft soil, the faint sweetness of fallen leaves. Overhead, the canopy stretches wide, a living cathedral of branches that filters moonlight into silver threads. Each beam glows through drifting mist, like candle smoke made of stars. You lie back, feeling the firmness of the earth beneath you, solid, ancient, reassuring. Every grain of soil beneath your body was once a leaf, a raindrop, a breath. You are resting on the memory of everything that has ever lived. Above you, the leaves sway gently, whispering secrets to the sky. The moon listens, its pale light washing over the forest in a rhythm so slow, it feels like the heartbeat of night itself. The forest does not sleep in darkness, it sleeps in light, soft, silver, endless light that touches everything but demands nothing. You close your eyes, and the shadows behind your eyelids turn into shapes, branches, clouds, drifting constellations of thought. Everything slows. Even the concept of time becomes soft around the edges. You are safe here. The forest has taken you in, not as a visitor, but as one of its own. Its calmness seeps into your breathing. Its stillness settles into your heartbeat. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to fix or change or chase. All of that belongs to the daylight world, and the daylight will wait. For now, there is only rest. If you listen closely, you might hear the quiet movement of water beneath the soil, the slow drift of groundwater through roots and stone. It sounds like a lullaby sung by the earth itself. Each note rises in waves, soft and low, like a song you once knew but forgot how to hum. The forest hums it for you, and as you breathe, you find yourself matching its melody, inhaling with the rhythm of roots, exhaling with the rhythm of leaves. In, out, the same breath shared by every living thing. The stars appear now between branches, tiny, trembling lights scattered across infinity. They are older than the trees, older than the soil, older than sleep itself, and yet their glow feels familiar, like something that remembers you. Perhaps the light from those stars passed through the leaves of forests long vanished. Perhaps it has been waiting all this time to find you here tonight beneath this canopy. Every photon that touches your skin is a traveler from millions of years ago, a messenger of time, telling you that you belong to something vast and eternal. You turn your face toward the sky and feel gravity gently holding you in place, not as weight, but as belonging. The earth beneath you is not pulling you down, it is holding you close. The forest floor becomes your cradle, the night your blanket, the stars your distant guardians. You are part of the same story they are telling, the story of rest, renewal, and return. In the language of trees, sleep is not an escape, it is participation, a way of joining the endless rhythm of life. As you drift toward dreams, your body slows to match the planet's turning. Your breath becomes the ocean's tide, your pulse the heartbeat of the soil, and in that alignment, healing begins. The body restores what daylight took. The mind unwinds the tangles of noise and thought. Even the spirit breathes easier. You are not falling asleep. You are falling back into harmony. Somewhere above you, a single leaf falls. It turns slowly as it descends, glinting in moonlight like a small, spinning truth. When it touches the ground, it makes no sound, and yet its arrival changes the world, just slightly, just enough. It is a reminder. You don't need to make noise to make meaning. Stillness is also impact. Silence is also action. The forest teaches this every night, and tonight it teaches you. Now, let go of the last remnants of thought. Let the weight of your body sink into the earth. Let your eyes rest, your shoulders soften, your heartbeat slow. There is nothing outside this moment. There is no past here, no future, only this, the quiet miracle of being. The forest will keep watch, the stars will stand guard, and the earth will cradle you in its ancient, patient arms. Sleep now, the canopy whispers. You are safe, you are whole, you are part of everything that rests. And somewhere deep within the soil, a seed stirs, a root reaches, and life prepares to rise again, because in the language of the forest, every sleep is only the beginning of another dream. Beneath the calm surface of night, the trees dream of light they have caught, of rain that once fell, of worlds that have not yet begun. Their dreams are long, and within them we are all remembered. Chapter 10. The Dream of the Trees. There comes a moment just before the deepest sleep, when the world becomes weightless, the edges blur, thought fades, and time softens until it feels like a current, slow, wide, and endless. It is in this moment that the trees begin to dream. They do not dream in images or in words. Their dreams unfold as sensations, the memory of light, the taste of rain, the echo of roots pushing through ancient soil. In their dreams, the boundaries between seasons vanish. Spring and winter intertwine, as if the forest were breathing in both directions at once. They dream of rivers that once ran beneath their roots, of mountains that crumbled to dust and became the very ground that feeds them. They dream of the wind, not as movement, but as a voice that has never stopped whispering. Every tree carries these dreams, from the youngest sapling to the oldest cedar. Together, they weave the earth's subconscious, a vast, slow imagination that has been unfolding since before humans knew the word dream. If you could step inside the mind of the forest, you would see it glowing from within, threads of green and gold pulsing like neurons, each pulse a memory of life passing through. Here, time behaves differently. A century becomes a sigh, a millennium, a heartbeat. In this dreamscape, there is no death, only transformation. The fallen leaf becomes the next spring's bud. The decomposed trunk becomes soil, and the soil becomes breath. The trees do not grieve their endings. They dream them into beginnings. Perhaps, in the same way, the forest dreams of you. You are lying beneath its canopy, your breath rising and falling, in rhythm with the night. Your body radiates warmth into the ground, and the roots beneath you sense it, a pulse, familiar and kind. They fold your presence into their dream, your heartbeat becoming another note. In the long song of the earth, You have become part of the memory of this place. And even when you wake, some part of you will remain here, woven into the quiet logic of the forest's sleep. Scientists have discovered that trees, too, have circadian rhythms. Their branches droop slightly at night, as if the entire forest were exhaling. It is a form of rest, a biological sigh, a small surrender to darkness. As the sun disappears, the flow of water inside them slows, their metabolism quiets, and they wait, not idly, but peacefully, for the return of dawn. Even in their stillness, they are alive with purpose. Rest, for them, is not the absence of life, it is the renewal of it. And so it is with you. You may think you are falling asleep, but really, you are returning to the same rhythm that moves through all things. Your dreams are roots, your memories are leaves, your thoughts drift like pollen on the breeze. Each night, as you close your eyes, you rejoin the quiet intelligence of the planet, the collective breath of oceans, the slow pulse of stars, the gentle dreaming of trees. In these dreams, the trees remember their beginnings, tiny sparks of life emerging from dark soil, under skies filled with newborn starlight. They remember the first rains, the first creatures that climbed their branches, the first winds that carried their seeds across the world. And beyond memory, they imagine futures, forests that have not yet grown, worlds where new kinds of light will bloom, places where roots and stars might finally meet. Their dreams are not bound by earth. They reach into the cosmos, as if every tree longed to touch the same light that gave it life. As you drift deeper into rest, you, too, become part of that dreaming. Your breath joins the slow wind through the canopy. Your heartbeat becomes a steady rhythm for the forest to lean into, and the forest, in return, offers its calm, a stillness so profound, it feels like eternity breathing softly beside you. There is no separation now. The line between human and tree, between dreamer and dream, dissolves completely. You are both sleeper and soil, both breath and breeze, both the question and the quiet answer. In the oldest myths, the first humans were said to be born from trees, formed from their wood and clay, breathed to life by their patience. Perhaps that is why we still feel peace among them, because somewhere deep in our biology, we remember that our bones carry the same minerals as their roots, that our lungs mirror their branches, that our blood flows with the same rhythm as their rising sap. We are not separate stories, we are shared sentences. In the same endless book, now the forest grows quieter still. The night has reached its deepest blue. The stars have slowed in their drift, as if even the sky were resting. All around you, life sleeps. Moss, fern, fox, owl, leaf, and the soil itself. You are surrounded by breath, a great, unseen respiration that hums through everything. This is the heartbeat of the planet. This is the dream of the trees. And in that dream, you are safe. You are known. You are home. Sleep now, the forest whispers, for the world remembers how to hold you. The canopy above sways once more, a slow motion wave of gratitude, and then stillness. The night breathes, you breathe, the forest dreams on, and somewhere, in the quiet between those breaths, a new seed awakens, ready to begin the circle again.